Hey everyone, welcome back to another JBoz gaming video for World of Tanks Modern Armor. Today we're going to talk about filtering and getting that smaller selection of tanks in our carousel in the World War II main garage. So let's dive in. Starting at the main screen, we pick World War II as the game mode. We go in and immediately we're taken to the World War II garage. In the World War II garage, we can either hit up on the plus button, or we can use our left joystick and press up, and that will take us to the filter screen. In the filter screen, we have kind of two big sections. The first section is the filters themselves here on the left, and the next big section is on the right, which is the results. And so in each one of these, there's different information displayed. We'll go through it all today. We'll also talk about the command options down there on the lower banner below. And so to kind of select a particular filter, let's kind of talk about the different filter types we have. We have special, vehicle type, tiers, and nations. As I mentioned in a previous video that I already did, we have 12 nations in the World War II game mode, and so that's why we have 12 options to pick here under our nations filter. And the next section here is tiers. We have different tiers in World War II, tiers 1 through 10. These represent those tiers in Roman numerals. So this is the Roman numeral 4, this is the Roman numeral 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, and 10 accordingly. We also have different types of tanks. As I mentioned in a previous video, they are represented by the little symbol, and it's basically a diamond for most of them. So if it's a solid diamond, that is a light tank. If it is a two-striped diamond, that is a medium tank. A three-striped diamond is a heavy tank. And the upside-down triangle is our tank destroyer. And then the square is the artillery. So there are our vehicle types. And then under special, there's a few options, basically 5 options. There's premium, there's elite, there's favorites, there's commanders, and then there are daily XP bonus. And what these stand for are, if you want to see premium tanks, and they're distinguished in the results side of the filter by the kind of gold or yellow background versus the solid green background that you get with non-standard tanks. There's you can filter on status, or elite status, or not elite status, meaning that they have been either fully upgraded or they have not been fully upgraded. And then there is favorites, and these you mark on the tank, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. And then you have tanks with commanders, and then of course, the opposite of this is to exclude, and that is tanks without commanders. And then the last option here is the daily bonus, whether you have gotten the daily bonus or you still have to get the daily bonus. In the results screen, the tanks are displayed. It'll show you the tier of the tank, as well as the type of tank in the tank card, as well as the tank name. And then also underneath, just like in the carousel itself, the card shows the country of what country that tank belongs to. So it also, in the upper right side, it shows the amount of experience that tank has acquired. Also in the results screen, at the very top right of the screen, is the actual number of tanks in the current filter. In this case, I don't have any filters on the filters box turned on, so therefore I have no filters turned on. And when I don't have any filters turned on, that tells me I have 453 vehicles, which means I have 453 tanks in my garage. Quite a few tanks. So this is where filtering becomes even more important, because with this many tanks, you can imagine trying to go through a carousel in your main garage of 453 tanks is quite daunting and very difficult and very heavy, very time consuming, I should say, to find the tank that you're looking for. So That's why filtering is important to do. Also, in the results screen, we have some options. So when we move over with our left joystick over to the results screen and get the kind of cursor in that screen on a particular tank, you can hit the A option, and that brings up a little drop-down box or drop-down window. And in this drop-down, you can either go to this vehicle, add this vehicle as a favorite, inspect the vehicle, or hold the A button to sell it. So this is how you go to sell vehicles, is in your filter option. You can also, once you've selected and drove into a vehicle, as far as from the customization window, you can actually sell the vehicle in there as well. But this is a kind of a shortcut way to sell vehicles. If you can filter on a bunch of them that you want to sell, and then you can come in here and sell them through the results screen. Let's kind of go to the top. So go to vehicle. All this does is take you into the customization screen for that particular tank. So to go to this vehicle, I'm sorry. This actually, what this does is take you out to the main garage screen and select that vehicle in the actual carousel. The inspect vehicle actually takes you to the customization screen where you can look in depth into that specific tank. There's obviously a faster way to inspect the vehicle. If you're already in the main garage screen and you're on that tank, just hit the X button and it'll take you right there. So very rarely will you actually pick inspect vehicle from this option. But the add favorites, what that does is actually adds a little icon in the upper left that then allows you to use that filter over here where you want to see, hey, I just want to see the tanks that I have selected in my favorites, that have my favorites. And so you can kind of do that by coming in here and picking the tanks that are your favorites, and then quickly selecting a filter that just looks at your favorites. And then now when you go back to the main garage in your carousel, only your favorite tanks will be in your carousel. Obviously, to remove that, you just hit the X button to clear all filters off, and you're right back to viewing all of your tanks. So let's kind of experiment here a little bit. So in this filter screen, let's say I want to look at all my tech tree tanks. So in order to do that, I can hold the A button and X out, if you will, the premium filter. And when we do that, all it does is exclude all of the premium tanks from the results screen, showing that I have 197 tech tree tanks. So that means the bulk of my tanks are actually premium tanks. So if I come out here and I just select the premium filter on by hitting the A button, then it only selects all my premium tanks, and I have 256 premium tanks. Now sometimes you might play both tech tree tanks and premium tanks, and you want to have a kind of filter set to all the tanks you play. And that's where I tend to use the filter button. Is I'll come in and I'll set all the tanks I play, whether they're premium or tech tree tanks. I will actually set a favorites on them, and then I can select this as the filter, which then shows all the tanks that aren't favorited, or all the tanks that are favorited. So now if I go out, I'll only have 26 tanks in my carousel. They're all tanks that I'm able to play, but I can even filter further by selecting additional filters. So as I add, maybe I only want to play premium tanks today, so I can select it. Let me, oops, that's not everything that's not everything that's not medium. So let me select everything that is medium tanks, and now I only have 5 tanks and that to choose from, and that's what would appear in my carousel if I went back to the main garage screen by hitting B. I would have these tanks in my main garage. As you can see, they're in my carousel, and that's all I can see in my carousel. Notice that I have both standard tech tree tanks in my favorites, as well as premium tanks in my favorites. So you can decide what is your favorite tanks, and you can this is a way to customize the filter, if you will, for things that you want to play and only you want them to appear in the carousel. You can continue to even further filter down into, hey, you know what? I only want to play my favorite tanks that are medium tanks that are in a certain tier. Let's say tier 8. Oh. I keep holding it too long and excluding them. So what you want to do is just select one time the tier 8 icon in the tiers filters. And now I've drilled right down to, hey, this is a favorite tank, it's a medium tank, and it's a tier 8 tank. So if I had other medium favorited tier 8 tanks, they would appear in this filter as well. But luckily I only have one. So that's quickly how you can filter down. And obviously you can do any combination of filters that you deem needed or necessary. So I would encourage you to play with the filters to get them down to exactly what you would like to play. Let's say you just want to see what are all the Chinese tanks you own. You just zero out the filter, come in here, select a particular country, and there they are. All of the tanks in that country that you own, you can see. You can obviously scroll over using the left joystick to see all the tanks. The little line down below will let you know that there's additional paging in the results screen. Right, see it flip back and forth there at the bottom of the results screen. So there you go. So we'll go back to the main garage. Actually, let's go back into filters. Let's clear the filters by hitting next, just to make sure that we have all our tanks selected. And that will be the end of the filtering screen. So let me know if I've missed something, if you want me to talk in more depth about something in the comments. Always appreciate your feedback. If this has been helpful, as always, like the video, hit that subscribe button, but we'll see you in the next one.